Well, hello and welcome to the National Real Estate Post, everybody. And before we get started, obviously you can see I have a guest with us today. Before we jump in, Rene, just bear with me one second, a little housekeeping here. I want to remind everybody that Loan Tech is giving away their product for free, absolutely for free for 1 year, no ties, for free. Give it a try. Try it out. Loan Tech is designed to help you better convert your online leads and other leads that you bring into the system. It's a fabulous, detailed CRM, and it's free for a year. We're going to be doing a webinar this month in a week or so, showing you exactly what's inside and how it works. And then you can decide, heck yeah, I'll take that for free, and we'll get you to the next step to take that for free. So to sign up for that webinar, just click the Loan Tech banner you see here on the screen over on your right. Don't miss it. It's going to be great. Thanks for bearing with me there. Rene, how are you today this morning, sir?
Fantastic, friend. How are you, man?
I'm good. So just to introduce you, guys, this is Rene Rodriguez, and he is a coach, trainer, speaker, etc. Has been for a very, very long time. A good friend of mine. And he's also, are you the CEO or what are you of BetterLoanOfficers.com? What do you do for them?
Title is founder, CEO.
Okay. Well, big shot then. Mr. Numero Uno, the big guy, the big cheese.
One cleans bottles and takes out the trash and all that stuff.
So, CEO of BetterLoanOfficers.com, which we can touch base on just a little bit here toward the end of this thing. But Rene, I'm glad you're on the show today, and I really appreciate it. Guys, please listen to this. We had a really nice show last week where it was just me. I was solo, and I was just begging everybody in the industry to not sit on their laurels, even though they're so busy right now with all this low-hanging fruit and all this refinance activity. My experience in the industry has always been that when things turn, what I mean by that is when interest rates start making a turn and start heading up, and it doesn't have to be a lot. We're talking, 0.5%, 0.75%, 1%, it can make a big difference as to what's going on with the loan originator's pipeline if they're not doing the things that they should be doing all the freaking time. And we got a lot of comments back, Rene, and that's why I wanted to get you on here because, some of those comments were, I know, but I'm just so busy. I mean, how do I do this? What do I do? People, they don't want to die when rates turn up. They don't want to, but they're just busy taking everything that's coming at them right now. So I wanted to get you on the call, Rene, and just say, hey, based on your expertise in handling these situations, I mean, what do you recommend for these guys? And this is the guy who doesn't want to fail, doesn't want to die when rates go up. You know what I mean? But he's just so busy right now. He's saying, Rene, help me. Give me some thoughts here on what I can do. What are your thoughts, Rene?
When you brought up this topic, it was, you and I both got lit up immediately because it's not the first time we've seen it. And this is, it's as amazing as it is to have low interest rates. It's also the biggest curse that the industry has seen because, remember back when it was low interest rates and no barrier to entry, we had anybody and everybody coming in the business. Yeah. And now we've got low interest rates, but we've got professionals out there that are truly out there, gathering the business. And, the thing that I've always said is that the low interest rate environment sometimes can create a consoling illusion that we're creating value.
Right.
And in any industry that you're in, no matter where it is, and I might roll with better loan officers, but the majority of my time I'm in front of rooms or training sales forces on how do they increase the average production across an entire sales force. And we have to look at the things from an organic standpoint of what people are doing on a daily basis. And the challenge that we run into all the time is that people are doing really well without engaging in value creation activities. And what I mean by that is uncovering value for people. They're getting business coming in the door, it's coming left and right, all these places, and they're getting really busy.
Yeah.
But to your point, that they're ignoring the basic processes to keep them in business when that goes on. And so the thing that we always begin with, because you asked what do we do, is I want to even step back for a minute. Think of it a different industry. Every industry, every product, everything that's created has a dependent event. If you want to make paper, then you have to cut the tree down before you can actually mulch the log into paper. And mortgage industry sales has the same thing. You have to do certain things before other things happen. And what happens in a low environment is that it bypasses usually the first 3 or 4 steps.
Yeah.
And the steps are you got to prospect because you got to generate leads. Right? You got to set appointments and you got to present some sort of value. And you got to say, here's why, here's what I'm different. But when a low interest rate environment, people are just coming in and you're not having to prospect. You're not having to go through the process of setting appointments. You're not having to present yourself in a way that differentiates you from the rest. And so now all of a sudden, you're getting sales and you're closing deals.
Right.
And so that messes with the psyche of a good producer to say, shoot, I know I got to get back into. The good ones know it. It's sitting in the back of their minds. But what I would say, the first thing to do is they got to continue the basics. Even if it's an hour a day, they've got to have something that's basic every day.
Even if it's an hour a day, something like that. Based on your experience, is there a best time of the day for these guys to kind of make sure, if they're going to say, okay, I'm going to set aside this hour, or this half hour where I'm focused on prospecting, talking to people? Is there best time of day that you're aware of in all your research or anything? Or
here's what I found is that most people suck at time blocking.
Right.
And suck at time blocking because it's not a real feasible thing. And I know there's a lot of great trainers out there.
I agree with you, by the way, on this, and I've said this many times, but go on.
No, and please chime in. It's such a great in theory and concept, but you know this better than I do, and people listening know this better than I do, that when you're doing a mortgage, you're getting things left and right happening all the time.
Yeah.
And unless you have a process to shelter yourself from that, the time blocking piece is just not there. And there's something that's dynamic about being in sales. So what I tell people, number one, is you've got to make sure you're measuring everything. So if you're making calls from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., measure that against a week of making calls from 1 to 2, and then from 5 to 6.
Okay.
So your market's going to determine that. The demographics going to determine that. So everybody, if you're not measuring those, and this is basic stuff, right?
Yeah.
Measuring some things. I mean, we have to measure when we drive a car. Are we going north, south, east, west? We're not going to wait 2 weeks to see if we're going the right direction. The same is true in your sales activities. They've got to be measuring that stuff.
So what I hear you saying, and we've got to wrap this up just to give them a little nugget before we go, but what I'm hearing you say is make your calls. So, I mean, that prospecting activity that you think is the most important prospecting activity, even if they can only get in a little bit of time per day, what is it? Is it physical phone calls? Is that what you were suggesting?
If I were to get one tattoo, it would say salesman.
Yeah.
And so I go from a sales perspective. If you're doing less than 5 loans a month, I tell people you have time to sell. Stop thinking about so much marketing at this moment. Get out there and meet with people. Even if you're walking into real estate offices and asking them, say, hey, I'm brand new at this. What do you need to see from me? We did a call earlier today, and we just gave them a real simple question. When asking this question, say, hey, I'm just doing some research in the area. What would you need to see from a new lender to get you to even consider doing something with somebody different?
Interesting.
And it's just a real simple question to engage. And when you approach it, not from trying to get the deal or trying to get the next piece, but from really truly learning, all of a sudden it takes the pressure off you, it takes the pressure off them, and then you're able to have that conversation.
So again, we're coming back to you saying, see people, visit people, have the conversation. So the number one thing that you're saying is, I know you're really busy, blah, blah, blah. I know you got the fires and everything's, this is all dynamic. But if you're going to want to make it when things turn, it's really just, in your opinion, down to the brass tacks here, spend some time actually physically speaking to people every day.
Absolutely. And there's a magical thing that happens when you set aside an hour to not get in the fire.
Yeah.
Life goes on.
It does?
It goes on. It's really weird. This life just continues on, and they'll be sitting there waiting when the hour's over.
So we're talking about physically speaking to people and saying, I'm looking for some new business. Is there, can I help you with anything? Or do you know anybody that I can help right now? This is the basic, simplified gist of the conversation, correct?
If you're not skilled, I say make up in numbers what you lack in skill. So say the basic script. If you're really skilled, go out there and meet with people and just talk to agents, talk to them, see what's going on, see what they need, and have that conversation.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and sign off, and I really appreciate you being here. But before I do, I want to let people know how they can reach you. If they want to see you speak, or if they'd like to hire you for some sort of coaching, what's the best way to get a hold of you there?
Well, my website's crenespeak.com. You can look at betterloanofficers.com. But you and I are actually going to be speaking together in September.
Right.
There's a fantastic conference coming out called Elevate. In fact, I shared these ideas with the people over at NAREP, which is the National Association for Hispanic Real Estate Professionals. There are 26,000 members, and they're for the first time doing a mortgage event. They're calling it Elevate 2016, and the entire conference is designed around those 6 activities: prospecting, setting appointments, presenting value, closing, aftercare, and getting referrals. Every speaker from Dan Hardy, Steve Harney, you, Frank, you're going to be bringing some of that with I love what you're doing with Coop Out. That's such a great prospecting tool.
Right. Just
meeting with people and coming up with an idea. I had one guy, we're talking to him about with Coupon to make a $500 a coupon towards closing costs, but another credit company is saying, hey, we're actually going to create this and use this coupon towards $500 towards credit repair.
Oh, cool.
And so there are all sorts of great ideas. You got to be creative and use the technology. But that's going to be September 17th and 18th this year at LA Live. Go to elevatemortgagesummit.com.
Okay.
And some great people are going to be there.
Okay, great, Rene. Thank you very much. We'll try to get the links down below as well, guys, where you can contact Rene and about the event that's coming up. So great to have you here as always, guys. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. Let us know your thoughts on what Rene had to say down in the comments down below, and we'll catch up with you guys later here at the National Real Estate Post.